All right. I have not seen what you're about to show me. We've
Well,
saved this up
I don't know if you knew this or not, but my kids showed this to me today. Today is Grimace's birthday.
from
You know,
McDonald's.
yes, today's Grimace's birthday. And what's happening right now is there's this viral video they released on behalf of Grimace's birthday. They released the Grimace milkshake, and it's this purple shake.
Ah,
And so, like all the
that's what
kids
that is.
now,
Okay.
for whatever reason, all the kids are making these videos about when you drink the Grimace shake, then something terrible happens to you. And
Okay.
just watch, just watch,
All
just
right.
watch. You're gonna love this.
It's actually not bad.
Holy shit. That was awesome.
that was
really good.
That's just one. And like these kids, there's so many of them. They drink the Grimace shake, and they drink the Grimace shake, and then it cuts to like an apocalypse of purple.
That was really
disgusting
good, man. I'm
you wanna
impressed.
You want
These
to see it
kids
again?
nowadays.
I don't, and yeah, so these videos are getting stupid, man. But I don't know. It's been a cool week. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Cue the Muses.
It's good to see you.
There it is, guys.
There it is. That's
There
us.
it is.
Wait, that way.
That's us. Welcome back to our second episode.
Hello.
That was an attempt to smoothly show an intro to our show to show how professional we are. It stopped. It started. Sorry.
It completely reflects exactly how professional we are. So. Yeah. Man, what a crazy week. We decided to pull, talking to you guys, Ash, you know this, we decided to pull all of our music off of the streaming platforms, off of DistroKid. It was, they started.
Well, we should be clear. We didn't pull it off of all streaming platforms. We kept our stuff on YouTube. And
that's right.
We have our stuff up on our website, obviously, and Facebook, and we're spinning stuff on TikTok. But as far as Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all these things, and the million other things that are associated with DistroKid, we're off.
Yeah, well, DistroKid, for anybody who doesn't know, DistroKid is just an aggregator for unsigned independent musicians. It's as simple as you pay a fee to sign up, and you upload your music, and they, as the aggregator, distribute it across the board to all the streaming platforms and in any TikToks and stuff like that. They're working the bugs out. But what we found was they try to protect you by not letting anyone else monetize your stuff and not let you get paid for someone else using your song in their video or something or whatever. But the problem is we, as Cue the Muses, wanted to let anyone and everyone, at least for now, share it and distribute it freely as they want, to just about any extent. If you want to make a TikTok video with our music, yes, I'd love you to. We're not looking to get paid because your TikTok video got 1 million views. We would just appreciate the million views with our song.
100%.
And these aggregators haven't figured it out yet. I'm not going to bash DistroKid personally, but it was frustrating for me because I told them I want you to allow anyone out there to share my music or to upload my music as free as they want to. I know it's mine. We made it. It belongs to us. But I want people to be able to share it however they creatively figure out a fun way to use it. And they could not provide that service to us, and they were penalizing and muting anyone's video that they made.
But we ran into this about a year ago when we put out the first episode and the first single. We wanted our single to simultaneously, upon us putting it on YouTube and on our website, we wanted it to be available on Spotify. That's probably the number one personal thing I would like to have our music up on. It's so popular. And even people, and that's why we use the service DistroKid, because it's a way to immediately get, disperse your music on all these different platforms in one go for, one relatively small fee. But even people in our band couldn't share the videos. They could, let me be clear about this. They could share our videos that we posted. I should be even more clear about this. They could share the video that we uploaded to the Cue the Muses Facebook page. But even I, as, one of the, the owners of Q the Muses LLC could not post it to my own personal page on certain social media accounts, like TikTok in particular. And so other bandmates were trying to post it as well. And the reason we were trying to have all of our bandmates not only share our singular post from Q the Muses is, and this kind of segues into another aspect that's tough about the social media game, is we wanted to be able to I got lost in what I was saying, actually. Oh, that they don't really share. Facebook doesn't really share any external links much at all, nor does it share much about your post. If it's a business page, like a Facebook page, Facebook business page, it's not really going to share your content as much as it will a personal page. So we wanted all of our bandmates to be able to also post our videos up on their personal pages by uploading them. So that way more of their personal fan bases, their personal friends, would see our content. And this is a challenging game. So all that was stripped away from us about a year ago. And we thought we kind of fixed this. You had gotten in touch with DistroKid, and we had put some specific names on there. And I believe you felt like we had checked off some boxes for people to be able to share this more freely. And then we ran into a recent issue that we'll explain in a second that was really threw off some momentum we wanted to have with somebody that wanted to share our videos.
Yeah, it was initially the problem was specific profiles on a specific social media platform wanting to upload the music on their own accord to share, which again is what our goal is. And they muted the videos, they took the videos down, and what we did was give, like you said, we gave specific URLs for our musician friends' social media pages and uploaded a master list to DistroKid, and then they allowed those profiles to use the music freely as basically an extension of ownership. But it became very frustrating, like you said, now, because we met all sorts of people. Episode 0.5. Sorry, what'd you do?
Was your it was cutting in and out for me on what you were saying. I'm not sure if it's on my end or yours.
Oh, I don't know. Hold on.
It wasn't your audio. It was actually just the internet signal itself. I'm not sure if it was just that I was seeing you late. The clock was still ticking at regular speed, the live number. Just in case.
I didn't have my own voice playback to hear it.
It may not. We're still new to this podcasting game a little bit.
Yeah,
it's live. We're recording it live, even though we're not playing live.
Anyway, I think we're okay. I think it's just an internet modem speed thing. Anyway, what happened? What happened was we lost momentum with some very cool people that we met at Spookala. Couple people specifically, but we wanted them to upload the music and share it to their site, and it wouldn't let them.
Yeah,
that's it. I think we kind of trailed off.
Well, in particular, so we went to Spookala, and the number one goal that we really had the whole time was if we could get other people that have followings, because we're a new band out of the middle of nowhere that doesn't perform. We don't have a following. We're building a following from thin air without playing shows. So we are trying to get some exposure and mentions from people that have fan bases. That's a pretty common thing to desire. And one of the things that we ended up with was I made a little Spookala highlight video. I played a clip of it last time on the first episode. And one of the people in it, Molly Z, is actually quite popular on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. We're talking close to 300,000 followers on TikTok. And he really wanted to, he's the puppet maker. He wanted to share the whole video and cut up clips and stuff. And he was getting muted. And then he also got rejected to be able to upload the video. Basically, when he put it on, it would either get removed or be muted. And so that's what sent us down this rabbit hole of dealing with DistroKid again a year later. And he was very nice, and we're planning to do more things with him. But we kind of missed the golden opportunity, the window where Spookala was super relevant, where people were looking up things about how Spookala was. His initial post, he ended up doing and it's okay, but, he ended up doing kind of a more chopped up version that he was able to put up, and it didn't have his, our music in it, because if it did, then You know, I mean, it had a little bit of our music in it, but it was kind of cut up. He just got away with what he could be allowed to put up, while we were trying to get DistroKid to allow him to put up anything he wanted of it, you know, the whole thing. So our music would have really gotten out there more. And so it's better that we nip it in the bud now, before we have an immense opportunity from some amazing band that we meet that really thinks what we're doing is fun and cool and wants to share it. We want anyone that has a following to be able to share this thing and let people know.
Absolutely. And you know, it's like the aggregator platforms, they really haven't figured it out in that retrospect yet. The smaller unsigned musicians who just want to get their stuff out there, specifically someone like us, who we're not a touring group. This is a different type of thing. This thing is, we want to as many people as possible just to see the link, and to click the link and see the website, catch part of the episode or the music video or the whole thing or whatever they decide. But just getting it out there, and these aggregators are not used to that. They're used to bands, music out there. Nobody steal the music. There was this, you know, I don't know about you, but when I grew up, there was this huge stigma as a musician all the time. Oh, you have to copyright your stuff. Before the internet, I remember
we mailed it to ourselves.
You mail
your
it
album to yourself. The poor man's copyright.
Yeah, the government address on the thing, and it was like this was this huge problem that people were stealing other people's stuff. And like I've only heard of one comical instance that I'm not going to reference with a new metal band from the last 10 years where that actually became something where it was a serious problem. But with our music, that is not in any way the case.
It's a different world now. I mean, look at when you upload a video to TikTok, and a lot of musicians, you know, need to kind of keep this in mind, like independent musicians that are trying to get their stuff out there, because I run into this when I'm making music videos for bands, right? And the question is like, putting it up, and how much do we want people to use it? If you choose to put up anything on TikTok, what you're putting up. My understanding is, if you don't allow for people to do duets and stitches and basically be able to put that in their own videos where they can put their own spin on it or commentary or sing over it, then I believe TikTok does not share it nearly as much, because the videos that go the biggest are the ones where you allow those boxes to be checked upon hitting publish on that video. So that's a completely different animal. You're basically giving away chunks of your music. But what I would say is that do keep in mind, it's chunks. It's not your whole. If you're 15 or 20 seconds of your chorus goes viral, I don't think this is a problem. I think people will want to listen to the whole song over and over. So I think it can be a good thing.
Yeah, they're gonna hear if the chorus went viral to anyone's music, and that amount of people heard it and liked it. If it was a catchy thing that people enjoyed, then they're gonna seek out to hear the rest of it. I would imagine. And it's, you know, I just, at least for a temporary purpose, you know, for people who are trying to be up and coming in the music industry, to allow their music to get out there to as many people as possible. But then I could see, you know, if you hit the point where my music is what is generating my revenue, well, then it becomes more important, right? Then you want the monetization. You don't want people to be able to use it. It's just like, you know, you go to the store, right? And they sell T-shirts. Like you go into like a store and they've got like an AC/DC T-shirt, okay, and they have a royalty agreement with AC/DC to sell the AC/DC T-shirt, and AC/DC either got paid a sum up front or they got paid in increments of a, you know, quarterly review of revenue. But you as a person, like I can't go and print up a bunch of AC/DC T-shirts at the local printing company and then go sell them legally, because they're gonna come after my ass for you know intellectual property, and I'll be in the lawsuit.
Absolutely, it's a gray area. You know, at what point do you cut off the ways that your music can be shared to the point where you're starting to lose money? Physical merchandise is definitely a way to honestly, it seems like, as an independent artist, generate more money than your music. The thing is, the music feels nowadays like it is the trailer, the preview for the the show. It's
Yeah,
like,
for the
you
live show.
basically,
Yeah.
that's kind of it. And if you don't have a live show, what you're really trying to sell is a show. I mean, we made a web series show.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our thing. And granted,
What
we
do you
want
do when
just
you
to,
can't go on tour?
and we do want to play live, guys. Like we want to get to that point, but it's 10 people and we're scattered from here up to Tennessee. And it's just, and they're very complex songs. And, if there's demand to be at a certain, if we can figure out geographically where, it'd be a great place to hold a show that everyone would show up for it and stuff, it'd definitely be the right, that'd be the right match to get it started for sure. But currently we need to see some more numbers. We're in our infancy trying to get this show concept out there. So we haven't really pushed in that direction at all yet. We're still making the episodes, trying to get the full first season / album out. Then we can perform the full album. That's another thing, is not performing it until the music is all released.
And remember, when we started writing this and writing the music and coming up with the whole the theme and the idea of what it is we're doing, it was in end of 2019, sorry, and beginning of 2020, and what happened in the beginning of 2020, there was a couple fun things, I think, Slayer
People
might have
got
did a
sick.
reunion tour, and then people started getting sick. Yeah. And then
People got
everybody
sick.
wasn't allowed to leave their house, and nobody was leaving their house. And then touring got canceled, and I heard a lot of bands just really got hurt. Some personal friends of mine had just signed an artist agreement with, Pavement Entertainment. And then they couldn't do anything. Nobody was touring. Nobody was playing live shows.
Yeah.
Everybody was stuck in the house. And
Crazy.
that's when the idea of, okay, well, what if there was a fun rock show that was exactly that?
Well,
a rock show.
technically, you and me started this project in November, and COVID did not really start happening until the end of, as far as shutdowns and stuff, until the end of January.
That's
I believe
right.
is when it started. So we were like 3 months in. We're like, this is kind of crazy that we embarked on this journey together to do this thing that doesn't involve shows, that's still so music oriented. And we wrote, just you and me. I would come over to your studio out in Crawfordville for almost like 8 or 9 months or something, writing the guitar parts. We'd come in, do a few parts, and would build as much as we could there. Then I'd come away with some scratch tracks that you'd record there in the studio. I'd come up with parts, bring it back, and literally just piecing together these 8 to 11 minute songs as just two guitars. And there were so many times there where I'd come up with some wacky stuff with the time stuff.
Well,
And you luckily you had the ability, because I'm not a drummer, guys. I can't drum to save my life, unfortunately. But yet I'll come up with like ridiculous. That's why I come up with such terrible rhythm, because I can't drum. So I come up with stuff.
13's where I draw the line.
This is an 11, 13. Yeah, you did draw the line, but we still kept it. And then Brett got rid of it. Brett, you took our 13 away. No, but you luckily could put down at least, well, you can kind of play drums. So you put in some fake drums just so we could hear a beat, get an idea. And once you heard that, dude, once you put down beats to specifically Disco Nightmare was the first song. That's the one that comes out in the next video episode. And there was a part we were working on. You put basic drums down to it. And you understood what I was trying to do the second you heard it with drums, because you figured it out. And 2, we both looked at each other like, dude, this is going to be really pretty good. Like, we got to keep doing this. This is sounding really cool. Like, I like this. Yeah, we had some chemistry.
It was such an unexpected surge in inspiration and creativity writing that way, because me and we've both been in bands. I'm sure everybody listening or watching who is in a band, hasn't been in a band, or written music of any kind knows that with a group, you usually get in the room and everybody feels each other out. And as two guitar players who've never played together, never picked up an instrument in the same room, I don't think prior, we started writing solely on basically a creative, not to say a duel, but it was a back and forth where we both tried to challenge each other and found new grounds for ideas with each other, and we never set out to write. Oh, we're gonna let's do 11-minute songs. Let's write
No.
songs as long as too long for radio. It just was what it was.
It was a
I had a
playground.
song that I brought. Yeah,
It's a musical playground. You could just do whatever you could think of, and it's fun, challenging yourself, and then in turn challenging your teammate. You know.
Yes, yeah, and it's like we weren't in a band, we weren't playing with anyone else. We weren't in that, not in a way that we didn't need anyone else, because we did. We didn't just do it by ourselves, but the writing process, without that was an important part. The writing process had no boundary, it had no doors, it had no avenue. Like, where we weren't going to stay in a specific genre and not be able to get out, because a lot of times I've been in, I think I counted it the other day, I think I've been in 17 bands. Okay.
I've been in 3.
And every band in the beginning, there's this beautiful point where there is no boundary at all, just like when we were doing it. But eventually with the band, you kind of find the boundaries and say, okay, well, this is kind of our niche and this is where it goes. But I really specifically feel that with this one, there just wasn't any sort of holdback.
You know what I think part of that was? I think getting to have that much of a runway as only 2 people, it made it easier to not have to make like normally you have to take votes, 4 or 5 people and stuff. So, and everyone's coming at a different direction, right? And so we could just make decisions quicker. I mean, it was either yes or no, and then that was the decision. If we both liked it, we liked it, and then it just would move. The pace of that was interesting. I've never been written that much material with just literally one other person before. That was interesting. I think there's a speed that comes with that. But at the same token, we did this out of necessity. It wasn't that we didn't want to be rehearsing or coming up with these with more people than that. It was one, COVID.
You weren't allowed to go see your friends for like 8 months.
It was complicated. I mean, even at that time, we were trying to put together on the side. I was trying to rebuild Kill Clouseau for a minute there, or a few months there, or half a year there. And it was really complicated to get it without going into details. It's like, it just didn't, there was a lot of aspects of that just couldn't work. And COVID had a major factor in that. And that was unfortunate. So it was challenging, but I think that with the 2 people thing, we were able to move at a certain pace. And we also just were able to experiment a little bit. It was less judgment. You could just kind of figure it out. Now, once we figured that out, so let's say album 2, I'd prefer for there to be more people involved the whole time. But I think that the base is there now to know how there really aren't walls up of where we might want to take it. And that's kind of the whole point of Cue the Muses, is it should be very versatile, and having, different singers across each song really helps it be that way. Which is, fantastic.
And the singers, when we did get to the point where we brought in the first 2 other musicians, which was when we had Brett and Timbo, they still felt like they had room to be creative, especially with songs that are written that have never been played to a drum track. And we didn't tell Timbo, play them like this. We didn't tell Timbo, we want this here, we want that there. We just told Timbo, here's the songs. Dude, they're yours. Drum them.
Well, and I made it a point to tell him we want the drums to be a feature, not a backbone. Just like, a backbone obviously rhythmically, but we want the drums to be able to be like an added thing. Like, if there's a project that you've been in to show off in, we want this to be that. We want you to just come up with, whatever you want. Don't just feel like you're trying to ride a backbeat. And he most certainly didn't do that. And he started just sitting with that music for, I believe it was a good 6 to 8 weeks that he had scratch tracks. He may not have had the final scratch tracks because we didn't finish that until closer to the end, right?
Yeah, and the scratch tracks weren't they weren't incredible. Some were in better levels than others. I
Yeah,
remember there
yeah.
was one particular one of my amplifiers died, and I had to solder some stuff in the chassis back up, and it lasted
Yeah.
just long enough to finish the scratch track I was working on.
Right.
And then literally, I think when we listened to it back in the studio, it fizzed out. And Brett said, "What the hell was that?" I said, "That's the sound of my angle dying. It's fine." But but it was they weren't great. I didn't mean to go off topic. They weren't great scratch tracks, and some of them sounded better than others. But that's the thing. The people that are involved in this project, every one of them just astounded me with how well and how advanced level of musicianship they had, from everyone from Timbo to you to from Nadira to Kurt Rogers to Russ to David, Cody, and then and Brett himself. It's just like the people were above the level that we even expected. But again, writing through basically through 2020 was when the music was written. And there was what better or worse time to just focus. That was another part of it, was just being able to focus on something creative through such a shitty time in the world,
Yeah, I mean, it was actually, it was like really amazing to have that being worked on, because it was such a grandiose idea. It was like such a fun concept, because it's like, it absolutely, without doubt, it's fun to make music, but to know that the effort is to put it into this, at the time, again, we kept talking about it as a full feature-length film. It's going to be a movie, and it turning into a show doesn't really change that aspect of it too much. The idea that it's nested inside of these full scripted episodes, it was just such a fun concept. And then during that time, we're like, man, if we're gonna act in this as these like two characters, once it comes time to, we probably should practice acting a little bit. And we knew the idea was like, the only way we could pull this off, because we're non-actors, guys, believe it or not. I think you figured this out by now.
I don't know if you knew this.
But was that we had to play ourselves, for one thing. And what we did end up doing in it is not too far off from us. And we're even, Ash and Dick. I mean, it's like the closer it could be to who we really were, that's the only way we could pull off any believability in the characters. But it also, the terrible acting plays into the B-campy B-movie campy humor that it is, and we just played into every weakness about what we had to work with, and turned it into an attribute.
The only rewrites that I ever did to Ash's script was when he wrote Ash mannerisms into what I was saying or responding, and I'd say no, that's not what I say. I say fuck a lot.
Right. Yeah, you added a lot of fucks in there. There's no doubt about it.
It's just because we're playing ourselves, and I cuss like
well, and we decided that was one of the first questions when we began writing the script is this going to be R or is this PG-13? What is it going to be? And it's like a huge
it's a huge daunting thing to say you're going to try to put something on YouTube that's full of curse words. But it is. It's rock music. We're not specifically making it for children, but these days South Park is on the air.
Yeah.
Okay.
These past 30 years.
Well, and these days, Trey Parker and Matt Stone are the two most wealthy animators and voiceover actors on the planet, and not by a small margin either. No,
I think the humor that we have is that. I mean, it's like cursing's a part of the kind of humor that we're doing.
I just wish I was half as funny as one of those two guys' feet.
I wish I was half as funny as one of their townnails.
Yeah, because sorry.
You're getting a little full of it. You're not as good as all their toes, man.
We don't need to sit here and suck off Matt Stone.
The talent. Yeah. Well, how else are they going to mention us in their show? Dude, we really just touched the tip of the iceberg. What I want to talk about in the next episode is I'd like to talk about us picking out and we're reaching out to different singers and how we picked out each singer and why we thought who would work for each song. Granted, I mean, all the songs aren't out yet, but it's worth just talking about. I mean, people can know. We have a poster up that shows all the singers that inevitably sing on this project now. So it's not a huge surprise there. The music is the surprise, like the song itself, what it ends up sounding like.
Yeah, there's no secret on the roster, but like why we picked who to sing what, like you said, and also a little bit of why we picked who not to sing on what, and that'll be a fun topic reminder for the next one.
We did, because certain songs had different tones, and it was like, I don't think this. I mean, I'm picturing this voice for this, and at the end of the day, though, it would be an absolute blast to have heard everybody's versions on every song. Just like every singer that we've got, wouldn't that be amazing? But I mean, there's only so much we can do.
And we also had a case where we didn't get to use everybody who tried out.
Right.
There were several people we were looking at for one, and we couldn't pick all three.
Yeah.
So we had to nail it down to one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, like, we've only got 5 songs. I mean, we did the best we could. 2 of the songs are duets, so we were able to incorporate some more, but that in itself was like, it still just wasn't enough for how much talent's around us that would be fun to collaborate with. So anyway, more stuff in the future for that, that's the idea.
Absolutely. Well, and I put a post up on our Cue the Muses Facebook page, trying to ask people to give us suggestions on like what they would want. Like, what would you want to hear about? Like, if there's anything specific. Ash and I are new to this. I'm 100% open to taking like a listener mail or a viewer mail thing, or ask us to talk about a specific thing, or help. My dog just laid on my camera. Or hey, Kina, or anything you want us to talk about or not talk about, just let us know.
That'd be funny if they did give us a list of things to not talk about.
Yeah, stop talking about this. I don't want you to smile. I don't want you to look to your left. Why is your dog in the room making clitter clatter in there?
Why do you keep talking about your show? I don't want to hear you talk about your show.
Why does Richard keep wearing...
It's another alien.
Dick keeps wearing Xenomorph shirts.
I came in. I've got my Infra-Man shirt.
Oh, the super Infra-Man shirt. That's so bitchy. Oh man, the super Infra-Man.
I ordered it from
if
Radioactive Lab.
If Joe and Rob from that other podcast that I listen to a lot would just acknowledge. And say
from
hello.
the Infra-Man, because they talked about Infra-Man.
Don't be scared. Yeah, that's how I heard about it. It's this weird story how I listen to this other podcast, Joe and Rob. It's Stuff to Blow Your Mind, and they have an episode called Weird House Cinema every Friday. I think that they find an old, obscure, weird film, and they watch it, and then they have a podcast where it's about an hour and a half, and they talk about it. And I'm addicted to it because I like weird, old, crazy films. And the Super Infra-Man was one of the ones that I had heard about through their podcast. So when Ash was down here at my place, I think you were down here for Welcome to Rockville or something.
Polyphia.
Polyphia, after the Polyphia show, which oh my God, you think you're a good guitar player? Those guys they have the cheat codes for guitar. Whatever.
Yeah. So good.
But I made you. I said you got to watch this movie I heard about. It's crazy. I bought it the other day because of this podcast. And you're like, what is it? What? And I said the Super Infra-Man. And Ash, I'm not lying to you, because Ash lit up and said, oh my God, that's my favorite movie from a kid.
It's like
you hadn't seen it in 20 years or something.
It's been a long time. And I grew up watching this movie. Like, it was just, how kids will put a movie on VHS back in the day, and it's just playing all day long. That's what's spinning on the TV. And Infra-Man reigned the TV it was Infra-Man and Conan and
this is a whole podcast.
This is a whole other podcast. I could go, but Infra-Man was amazing, guys. If you haven't seen it, do watch it with other people. If it would be a good time to have a drink, relax, kick back. It's not a serious flick by any stretch of the imagination. And you'll actually see what inspired Power Rangers, and you'll realize how terrible Power Rangers never even touched the magnificence that is the Super Infra-Man.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Power Rangers, but
It was, yeah. And I grew up watching the Power Rangers. So me as a 39-year-old man
it was such
watching
a ripoff.
the Super Inframan for the first time, I said, my whole life, this is what I needed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, because it has magic. It's like, it's not just that it's so bad. It's like, it's that it's so good. And it's just like, I don't even like to bring up Power Rangers because it's not comparable. This is an adult movie for adults to enjoy in groups under the influence. Now go have fun. Or if you're a little kid, I guess. I fell in love with it as a little kid. What am I talking about?
I will say from experience, if you want to watch the Super Inframan, the only place it's out right now, I think, is on Apple TV, and you can purchase it. I think for like $4.50 is what I paid for it. It wasn't that much at all. It was 100% worth it, and it just silly fun. We're plugging Super Inframan pretty hard, but I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Ash's shirt.
It's fun. I got to wear it someplace publicly. So
yeah, I want to see who all comes up with a.
I know the conversations this will start for the people that know. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right, man. I'm gonna bounce out of here, guys. It was great. If you've listened to this whole thing, so fantastic and awesome. And in closing, if you do enjoy the Cue the Muses, please, by all means, let people know it exists. You can share a single music video. They are standalone music videos if that's how you want to hook somebody into what's in there. And then the first 2 episodes are out. The third one is scheduled to come out in October during the week of Spookala. That's what we're going to try to do. And we unveil a new song there.
That's right.
So we're having fun with this podcast. We'll try to put out another one very, very soon.
Good evening and good night.
We still don't know how to end these. So good night. Bye.
I don't know.
End
Do we
recording.
stop it? Do I stop it?
You stop. I stop.